I just won my OTS championship with Branded.
Aye. Subscribe.
I never planned on making this video, but we just went undefeated at my local OTS championship, so screw it, here we are. Pulled a QC from the entry packs as well, you love to see it. But yeah, this is going to be our all-reliable deck profile. Keeper gang, baby, let's go. I honestly thought we were done with Branded on the channel, but here we are. Hello, just won an OTS championship. Here's the beautiful champion Nightmare Magician match. Shame doesn't really get played in Chimera, but maybe in the future, we'll see. But yeah, had a really good time at the tournament today. Round 1, we beat Sprite. Round 2, we beat Kashtira. One final send-off before Arise Heart gets yeeted. Round 3, we played against the Puppet Lock version of Branded, and then round 4, we played against Kashtira Crystal Beasts, or Conclave Control, you know, whatever you want to call it. Some really fun matches. It did come down to a very stressful ending in time in the final match, but it is what it is. Here we are, deck profile for Branded. This works in new format. I was seeing what kind of lists we could go into the new format with, and my boy. Here we go. Okay, let's get into our deck profile here. This is a 44 card list. I was playing at locals on Wednesday with a 40 card build, but it just felt like I wasn't seeing enough kind of interruptions and hand traps, and then I would get stopped by hand traps, and then, you know, Ash isn't enough to save you most of the time. So went back to the drawing board, played around with ratios, increased the hand trap count and therefore the number of starters, and here we are, 44 cards. And it felt really, really good today. It's funny because there's so many different ways you can play Branded now. Of course, you can play the Chimera version that we were messing around with. That is a really fun deck. However, you lose harder to draw and Shifter, which is weaknesses that Branded doesn't really have. Although it also does offer other benefits. You can go Puppet Lock Turbo or good old-fashioned Keeper Branded, no puppet needed. And that's what we did today. So, 44 cards. Let's get into the list here. Starting off with all of our starters. We got the boy, 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic, Keeper Gang, baby. If you see him alongside opening, Branded Fusion, or Fusion Deployment, that's full combo. You're getting out Dragoon before Branded Fusion, and therefore Ash is a non-issue. And of course, the 1 instant fusion to go alongside him. We are playing the triple Aliber. Like I said, we kind of maximized all of our starters to increase our deck above the 40 count so that we could also play a bunch of hand traps and see our bricks less often. And because of that, we're not really bricking on normal summons too much. We do also have our 3 Branded opening. Say your normal summon over here gets ashed or impermed or whatever. You can follow up with opening into Aliber and still get to your Branded Fusion. And of course, 3 Branded Fusion, because Konami just refuses to hit this deck. You're basically always going to be able to play this deck. To be fair, it never really gets a whole lot of results, but it has essentially just been playable at full power for so long, it's ridiculous. We have our 3 Fusion Deployment into Cartesia, you know, just a Branded staple. I even play this in the Chimera build. I don't know if you've seen the deck profile before, but yeah, I find this card really bridges Chimera and Branded together. And I've finally seen someone actually playing similar Chimera ratios to me, which makes me a bit more confident in my deck building. They topped the YCS, by the way. YCS Cancun, I think it was top 64 or top 32. Overall, they were playing a really weird list though. They had like fusion duplication and whatnot, which is a funny tech, I suppose. Next up, we are playing 3 Nadir Servant instead of Crossout Designator, because Nadir Servant is essentially like a starter in a way, because you can get to your Sanctifier and then Reborn Albaz and then go into Mirror Jade that way, rather than Crossout just negating Ash and doing nothing else on its own. This card just makes you able to play in situations where you otherwise wouldn't be able to, which is quite nice. We have our Uno Cartesia and our Uno Quem. Cartesia literally always puts in work, and then Quem comes up here and there. She did put in the work today. You don't always need her to win the game, but yeah, she did put in the work today. Good card, good card. Still just playing the 2 Fallen of Albaz. Then we're getting into the sort of bricky part of the deck here. We have Uno Bufo D's Nuts. We got the Froggy, good fusion boy, and 1 Cobra. I think we opened this a couple of times, but it wasn't a huge deal. It doesn't like turn off your combos, like Keeper can just discard it and search Branded Fusion or Fusion Deployment instead of having to go through the whole Predaplant line. So it's fine. We are playing the secret rare speed duel Arcana's Dark Magician. Was considering playing the Quarter Century rare, but I do prefer this artwork. I wouldn't say Dragoon is necessary anymore going forward, but if you are playing Keeper, you might as well play the Dark Magician into Dragoon so that you're not losing to Ash on Branded Fusion. Don't think I've seen it once today, so happy days, you'll have to see it. We are playing the Tragedy and the Adlib. You'll never find me cutting these cards from any Branded list. Even the Chimera deck, I'm playing both of these. They're just way too good not to play, man. We have our Mercurier and our Bestial Lubellian, quarter century rare, feels good, man. We are also playing a single copy of Magnamut, newly limited, and a single copy of Druisworm for hands where if we see Lubellian, we can search an additional interruption. And Druisworm is obviously very good against Unchained. Magnamut can search Keeper, can search Albaz, has a lot of applications in the deck. And Bystials are just pretty good going forward. Branded Lost and Branded in Red, the staple branded spells, of course. This actually came up a couple of times when we opened it and we were able to like dodge an Imperm with it by discarding something for cost and then chaining Branding in Red, stuff like that. And then for the rest of our non-engine, we have triple Imperm, triple Nibiru in the main deck because Nibiru is generally quite good at our locals, triple Ash, and Called by the Grave. So 3 Imperm, 3 Nib, 3 Ash, and 2 Bystials gives you 11 hand traps, and therefore a solid chance at opening interruptions. But yeah, that is our 44 card main deck. In our match against Branded, we seen Bystials in both games. It was just felt good, man. But moving on to the extra deck, kind of standard, kind of self-explanatory. We have our double Albion, 1 Lubellian, double Mirror Jade. Some people play 1. Yeah, you can't catch me playing 1. 2 Mirror Jades. 1 Titaniclad. This is a very good card. Unaffected by monsters. Special summon from the extra deck. He's big, especially if you send the Biru. Goes up over 4,000. He a big boy. And we do dump this off of Mirror Jade to summon Quem. So it comes up quite a lot. We have the 1 Rindbrum. It's nice setting this up with an Albaz in the graveyard. But Rindbrum's also just like very good against Unchained and stuff like that. Honestly, we could probably swap this out. I think usually I play Sprint in its place, but yeah, we just played the Rimbrum because why not? Then we have our Nadir cards, Granguignol and Luliwa Lilith and Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. These are all necessary to set up your play after Branded Fusion gets ashed, assuming Nadir Servant's your only other way of playing. We have our instant fusion targets, 1 Millenniumizer Strict and 1 Ambulomalides. Dragoon to go alongside our little Predaplant line, Dragos Depalia and Guardian Chimera. Classic Branded Fusion cards that just can't be cut. Never. They're too good. For the side deck, I did take my local player base into consideration and played cards that I thought would be good against a lot of the decks that we see at locals. So we have 3 evenly matched, 3 Droll and Logbird, very good against a lot of the decks we see at locals. 3 Gamma Seal, not a whole lot of people play Parley at our locals, there is like 1 or 2, so I did have to at least have a out in the deck to Noir, but I did play Gamma Seal instead of Kurikaras because this allows us to deal with things like Baguska, it allows us to deal with things like Scareclaw Tryheart, Blackwing Full Armor Master. Gamma Seal just has a lot of applications at our locals, and I felt like it was the best out that we could play that also doubles as a hit to Pearly. 3, there can be only 1. Very, very good card going first. However, we went 2-0 in our first 3 matches, so we didn't really get to test this card out. Obviously, you see this going first, you can just win games, even if your own engine gets stopped. And finally, the first time ever, 3 Kashtira Fenrir. This is my first time actually playing Fenrir, and I thought it was a very good card to include in the deck because not only does it cover back row and floodgates like anti-spell when you just activate its effect, but it also gives you stuff to do assuming you get debarriered or your branded engine gets stopped. It's a very, very good backup plan, and yeah, still at 3, baby. Thought I would try it out, and it definitely felt like a good inclusion to the deck, although I didn't main it because I wanted to max out on kind of hand trap interruptions. But yeah, as a side going second card and occasionally going first, it did feel really nice. But yeah, that's the list we played. Kind of like one final standoff before we start messing around with the Red Dragon Archfiend stuff. At the end of the day, we leave with a cool mat and Keeper just proving that he is eternal.